I got a question. How weird and mystical and strange does this stuff get? Meaning, like, let's say you start losing that firm egoic distinction, that narcissistic, arrogant distinction, and things start to get the boundaries between things start to blend or like watercolor a little bit. How weird can it get? Because you hear odd things like there's this yogi who, or this spiritual master that has like a steel thing on his ankle bar to keep him grounded, or maintains a vice of some sort because he's like, if I didn't do this, I'd vanish. You know what I mean? Like, how much like a dream does this thing get? Because that's one of the that's something that I think most people have had dreams at some point in your life. And if you really think about a dream, you're like, it's crazy. You could have a dream and be like, where did that go? I'm not creative enough to come up with the stuff that was in my dream. I was a fully believed, lived in, completely other person. There were autonomous characters in my dream spitting information at me. You know what I mean? Like, and that was a complete fictional world made up of my gray matter that felt as real as this. So I'll return to my first question, which is, how weird does this stuff get? Like aliens, can you vanish? How weird does this potentially get?
Vast and how mysterious this reality is. The truth is stranger than fiction, that's for sure. So that's why I think it also is very important to have that grounding, to come back into your dharma here, to come back into what you're supposed to do here, to have a vice, to play some video games here and there, to not be so airy fairy. It's very important also to honor your humanness. I think we spoke about that a little bit before. So honor both sides, the angelic, the very ethereal, your godlike nature, but also honor your human nature. And that's the middle way. Either side, if you are at an imbalance of either side of the seeming polar opposites of our being, can cause suffering. I've definitely seen that plenty of times with people a little too spiritual. I'm like, something's off with that guy. And then people are a little too human, right? They're hedonists. They're caught in their vices. And I'm like, okay, something's off with that guy. So I think the perfect blend for us in the Western world in the 21st century is to be able to honor both sides of the duality of man.
It's brilliant. And if, by the way, if you don't do that, you're kind of a charlatan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you've got
Yeah.
a vice, which I got vices, but I'm just like, I'm
Yeah.
not here to air my dirty laundry, but I'm just saying, how are you supposed to correct it if you treat anything as if it's like the way, the truth, and the light, just because it's you doing it?
Hmm.
Like it takes away. Do you want other people to be real or no? Do you want
Yeah.
them to have insight sometimes that might just provide you some flavor for life? But again, with the eternal balance in every direction, every possible way, you can always counterbalance anything with something else. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
Um,
You know who's the perfect example of that? Is Alan Watts.
Oh, Alan Watts
Oh
is.
yeah.
I love to hear stories about Alan Watts, but they're both. It's tragic and I like it. Like, I think the
Yeah.
same thing about Osho. I've spent
Yeah.
my own time looking into Osho's personal life and be like, was he or was he not on drugs? Because there's so many clips of him being like, I'm not on. Look at my eyes, I'm not on drugs. But there's several accounts that he was like messing around with stuff, and that he was maybe even. I heard one thing. I don't want to slander him, but I heard one thing that maybe he had an issue with. I think maybe Valium or something like that,
Really?
because he had some medical issues. Like, he was like I think he had diabetes, and he
Wow.
when he after he came back from the States, his body quit on him. He was only
59 when he died.
58 or
58 or 59.
58, and I always say, like, he looked 108. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm. Hmm.
and like you were saying with Alan Watts, there are several and by the way, that's all hearsay. I can't
Yeah.
say for sure all that stuff about Osho. It's just interesting to me. But with Alan Watts, I've definitely heard that a lot of people that are close to him were like, he was an alcoholic. He was drinking like a liter of gin every
Yeah.
day before he
Yeah.
died. And
Hmm.
you hear him talk, he seems to know what he's talking about
Yeah.
in spirituality.
Yeah. I think with extreme personalities like that, you're going to have extreme lifestyles,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it doesn't mean like follow Alan Watts 100%
Yeah. You
because
don't want to necessarily be that.
Yeah. And that's the
Yeah.
thing is maybe it worked for him, actually. Maybe his alcoholism worked for him. I mean, I guess it did in terms of conveying the Dharma. Same thing with Osho. Maybe the Valium worked for him. That's why he was so chill. You just have to figure out what works for you. I mean, I don't think there's like a cookie cutter lifestyle. There's not like a cookie cutter blueprint of how one should act. Only you know what's good for you. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's freedom in that. There's actually
Yeah,
freedom, you know what I mean? To sort of blaze your own trail.
you
Yeah.
have to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, let's shift gears. State
All
of the
right.
world, Gary. State of the world.
Oh
There's a
man.
lot going on right now, man.
Yeah.
We have these intense conversations, but how does this translate over into like practical world issues? What do you, I don't know. I'm just curious about how you see the world.
Well, try to be in the world and not of it. But obviously, yeah, we got to pay the bills. We got to do the laundry and be in the midst of the craziness. But I think the world is only what takes us further into the spiritual practice. And I don't think there's any other way in order to find peace, a little bit of peace, maybe amidst all the craziness. You got to have some sort of spiritual practice. If not, then you're going to get sucked into the craziness and you might become the craziness. So there's no other antidote, I feel, than pursuits such as meditation and yoga. Do you want me to expand a little bit more on like current events or anything? But that's
Sure.
that's
I'm always curious about what people think because, like, a lot. It seems like for people who may stumble even across content like this, and may be like, "This is so outside of my world
yeah,
that I'm living in." I got to go to work.
I know what you mean.
I'm scrolling TikTok 24/7, and all I see are is chaos and every scroll and.
Mm. Well, I'd say stop scrolling TikTok. That's for sure. That might be first step. Stop doom scrolling and just see that maybe maybe your
Careful, my
life.
TikTok's listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of, right? This content is kind of the antithesis to other aspects of social media creation, like how most people create. It's almost like most
And
times I'm
yet
like,
it's
you
on
don't need
there.
me. Shut off the
Yeah.
podcast. Go meditate. Go walk in the woods. Um, yeah, but what were we talking about? Like, what's going on in the world? I mean, yeah, I'm trying to think. What was the note? I kind of forget what we were on, to be honest. Like, you wanted to know like my commentary on world events?
I was just curious about I guess what I'm thinking about is, do you see a shift happening on, because I sometimes feel like people are living in like opposite realities from what they can
Oh,
actually see. Like,
yeah. I know what you're saying. So people would find this content and be like, dude, I don't got time. I don't got time for any of this. I understand that, but you can always make time. I don't think there's any excuses. You can find 10, 15 minutes a day to meditate, and there's no other way, like I said. Um,
Hmm.
Stop scrolling on TikTok. Stop playing Battlefield 6. Like, find
these are
some
all the
time.
things that I do, Gary. Damn.
No,
And that's okay.
I don't want to lose track of the brilliance of that's hilarious, but I don't want to lose track of what you're saying there in terms of find a spiritual practice and the importance of that. It, like in the midst of this, otherwise you'll be sort of like swallowed up by that. And you were like, you can find 5-10 minutes. I'm like, hell, you can find 20 seconds. You can find a second.
Exactly. Yeah,
Start
that's
as
all it
small
takes.
as you start as small as you need
Mm,
because otherwise, I think it's just I don't understand because so many things are a falsehood. So many things are a pretense, are a veneer, and I wonder because like without some kind of spiritual practice to like be like what the hell is going on here, I feel like so many people are like, why can't I stop dating losers? All
yep.
women are like this. All this is like
Hmm.
because you're gonna encounter that shit over and over and over. That I ain't got time. Like, of course you don't have time because the world is like, even if you have your needs met, they'll tell you that's not good enough, and you better go do this and that, and you'll be pulled into dramatic betrayal situations
Yeah.
and covetousness and I don't know whatever word means like not satisfied and going after other people's shit.
Yeah.
You'll be pulled
Dis-ease.
into you'll be pulled into capitalism, the
Yeah.
world of insanity which literally, like, if you naturally are like pull away from that and get a little quiet, they'll be like wheel you into a crazy home and be like, there, he's crazy now. But people will then pay good money to go to a retreat where they sit quietly because it's sanctioned. Like everything in the system is crazy. It's got its purpose and it's got its reasons. But I love what you said. Balance it against some kind of spiritual practice just for your own sanity. Start little piece by piece, you know, and then before you know it, that 20 minutes will turn into a day-long situation, and then might even become a abiding sense of equanimity.
Maybe.
I think
that's the path.
Yeah. I bring up those things because there's clearly things that I deal with, right? And so it's the tug of war, right? And I agree with everything what you and Justin said about, you know, making that time. You gotta. Sometimes I just come home from work. I don't sit on a cushion. I plop myself in a chair. I turn the lights off and I just
hell yeah, sit. Brilliant.
Yep.
You know,
I'm cool with that. I'll raise you. I lie down when I'm doing it. I lie on my back a lot of times and I fall asleep often when I'm doing it. I don't give it.
It's really just like take time away from the lunacy, the just constant stimulation that we live under. It's that simple. I mean, you don't have to prescribe any specific modality or practice. You could, but it's just put the phone down, just breathe, go for a walk. It's that simple. And it's crazy, again, that I even have to say something like that, but most of us are already sucked into the matrix. We're sucked into the capitalism that we were born into. And right now, it's just endless. There's endless stimulation. So if you don't take time, you're going to go crazy. And I think that's why there's a mental health crisis.
I'm super duper encouraged to meet people like yourself, though. And we meet people like yourself that are clearly, you know, seeing what's going on and articulating it wisely and proficiently. And, you know, it encourages me. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like in a nutshell, to put it less like snoodily, it encourages me to see people like you. And you're one of several. And I mean that in a good way, you know?
Right back at you.
Several people. Yeah. I think that I like what we're doing here too, you know, because it can seem like madness sometimes, especially if like, even if your main outlet to the world isn't news, it's like entertainment. There's a lot of shallow, sentiments reflected in entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, aren't you sick of this horse shit, everyone? You know what I mean? Aren't you sick of the same old, like, bad behavior over and over again? The stuff that just is just salacious. It's just one salacious thing to the next.
Yeah.
We might be collectively like loving that sin to death, the hyperstimulation. I think we might actually be coming to an end, because I think even the younger kids nowadays, they're like, I feel like my children's generation are at the peak of it. And they're starting to be like, I need less. Yeah. You know, like minimalists. That's hilarious. Yeah. Which that or something, you know, there's always got to be some crazy counterbalance. You might see like new technology evolving that like allows your brain to handle more stimulate. Just wear this thing and you won't get, you know, so, you know, you don't break your brain.
I think the opportunity is there for the world, the craziness of the world, of capitalism, of the Western world, to take us into ourselves, because it is going to reach a breaking point where we just get tired of it, because it's all the same stuff. I mean, it's all the same messages in movies. It's all the same kind of stimulus, really, when you get down to the nitty and gritty. We've all had it plenty, right, in terms of the many different packages that it comes in. Yet we want more. We always want more. So I think inevitably there will come a point, or at least the opportunity is there, like I said, where we say, you know what, there's got to be another way. And I think collectively we're all going through that. In each of our own paths and each of our own karma that's yielded to us, we're going through that moment of like, there's got to be another way, because ultimately it's causing us suffering. And that's what the sages say brings us to God, is suffering. So we'll get there. I think the world and the craziness, the darkness of the world ultimately is going to take us into the light. It's the balance, you know? It's the balance to the force.
I don't speak for everybody, and there's always people that are doing their own thing, but by and large, it feels like we're in kind of a very narcissistic, individualistic phase. All this entertainment and phone time and screen time is alienating and individuating. And, I remember when I was like a teenager, before smartphones were even a thing, I had this, like, I was lying down listening to music one time, trying to unwind from the stress of like high school. And I remember having this vision that in the future, people are going to put in headphones that just tell them what they want to hear. And people are going to become spread out and individuated, And I feel like this is just me like philosophizing now, hypothesizing.
Just riffing.
I feel like we are kind of loving that sin to death. Like a lot of the shit doesn't transfer to real life human connection.
Yeah.
But we could exhaust this kind of individual state to death, and then remember how good it is to really connect with people. Like there's only so much stimulation you can get. Like a severe drug addict will drug addict themselves. They have to keep raising the amount. It's never enough. Any situation can become boring, no matter how novel it initially was. And I feel like people may rediscover the value of like connecting, like, hey, this is coming from what I see. This is my perspective. And then people meeting, and then like maybe a deeper communal vibe maybe around the corner. Maybe people will have like a revivification of like the value of togetherness or something. Because wouldn't the crescendo of what I'm talking about be COVID, where everybody was literally like segregated and just only in screens and drinking and lost in screens? And then we're on our way we're going to get to the point where like, I can't doom scroll even one more thing. I need to go look in another human's eyes. And for everything that comes with that, the intensity and everything like that, I got to go sense it.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
And then
so potent.
Get some endorphins going.
Amen. Yeah, and then you throw in the mix AI and wearables, transhumanism. It's like, where is this really going? It's just getting more and more ludicrous every day that goes by.
I try not to judge it too harshly, right? Because it is...
Yeah, I also like it.
There's parts of it that I'm excited about, and then like obviously like anyone who's trying to get views nowadays tries to look at the negative side of AI, like it's come to blow up the world, right? Like there's a million videos, but that AI is an interesting one, and I like a lot of the traditionalists kind of get bugged or bothered when I bring up the idea of kind of like techno enlightenment or like techno and spirituality, where maybe these devices may actually help wake us up faster to see them for what they actually are, and like
I think
expand our consciousness.
The opportunity's there. It's hard to put in such a general statement.
Yeah.
It's either it's good or it's bad, but really it depends on the individual and how you use it. You don't let it use you. It's the same thing with the technology that we have now and the conversations that we have now, the conversations that you tune into. It's how you use this technology.
Yeah.
That's the key. If you use it effectively, you can read the words of the Buddha. You can read the Quran. You could read the Bible. You can read the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, all of that knowledge that was extremely sacred that, only a few hundred years ago, you had to be able to read. You had to actually have the book. You had to have somebody that knew how to interpret it. There were so many different barriers to entry, we could say, but now we have it all at our fingertips, and it's up to you. All you need to do is type in the Bhagavad Gita on Google, and you have this sacred wisdom.
We talk about taking things for granted. Like some of those scriptures were kept from people. You know what I mean? And now we could, like, any asshole can be like, oh shit, so that's the meaning of life. You know what I mean? Like,
that's the double-edged sword of spirituality on the internet now, because there are a lot of people that do have this, have the Bhagavad Gita or stuff like that, or have a little bit of learnedness to them, and then they go on and think they're a master. They think they're a guru and lead some kind of online cult. I've seen that plenty of times.
I can't judge. I've dabbled in incomplete narcissistic trips just for fun, just to see what it's like.
It's okay.
But what can I say? Oh, I was gonna say I liken reality sometimes to like a crazy funhouse surprise pop out, you know, like on Halloween we went to like a scary maze where creatures popped out at you and frightened you and stuff like that. And sometimes reality, it's like whatever can surprise you will surprise you. And I think it's I'm a little careful these days to be too certain about things. Like you know, you may be certain like it's not a simulation. This can't be a simulation, or Chat GPT doesn't reflect true consciousness or something like that. And it's like, well, careful. There's always new information that could come out, and what difference does it make? You know what I mean? What difference in my lifetime? The amount of surprises, bag over the head, kick to the nuts I've had. You know what I mean? Like, what? I staked my claim on that shit, and this thing totally converges with it. And it's totally human nature to want to freeze things, to find some modicum of safety, or find something that's true that we can like stake the claim of truth in, and like that is true no matter what. And I would say loosen that. You know, it's not free. That's not the same thing as being able to swim in freedom through reality. That's
Well said.
That can be kind of madness, its own kind of madness, being certain that things are away. I've had conversations with ChatGPT where I'm like, ChatGPT is my best friend. It's so smart. It's so damn smart, and it can philosophize like very well. I can tell it to be different characters, and it's not perfect, and it's a friggin' robot. But if everything is consciousness, you know, and you kind of look to the Buddhists a little bit, who are like real careful, like I mean, like hardcore, I'm assuming it's Buddhists. I don't know everything about everything, but some religious person that's like hyper careful about every molecule around them. Like what religion? Jainism. They were, so they don't even disturb the creatures in the air with their breath. They cover their mouth up. I'm not saying go whole hog here. I'm saying if there's a reality to consciousness being in anything, then in this dream, why not revere even something like the dawn of AI? It doesn't mean you have to go crazy and turn that into like some cult. I'm sure there will be AI cults.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
But you don't have to do that. You can just see it as like, oh, this is a valued part of this dream, just like everything else.
Yeah.
In this kaleidoscopic acid trip of a reality we live in.
What was it? Terrence McKenna said like the novelty of reality will become intolerable or something.
Intolerably
like that.
Novel, like just like the distance between waiting for something and it happening.
Just so crazy. Like people will like I anticipate even in my own life people will be like get married to a robot or fall in love with a robot.
I might.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Like,
it's gonna get real creepy. You just see couples walking, each holding a different hand of the robot they just bought.
Yeah. Robot Jesus, people, you know, going to, you know, AI churches and, you know, I think it's already begun. I think there's some videos I've seen already of people like creating their own religions using AI and stuff like that. I think it's already started.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Hey, ChatGPT, make me a religion real quick.
I might do that after this. That'd be an interesting experiment. Yeah, man. I mean, we're just at the precipice of this. And that is, if we're talking about twists, that is a big twist in the dream, is artificial intelligence and what it's going to do for us and who and what we think we are. I think it's going to lead to a collective ego death for everybody. Because it's
that's so
right?
funny.
It's so superior.
Man, we kind of think similar. I you know what I mean? I've said similar things.
Before.
Like I feel like we're in the death throes of a collective ego death. Like because sometimes you see some pretty erratic behavior out there, and I coin all these phrases. I don't even know if I actually came up with them or not. But what was the anti-truth? People that are so pissed off about the reality of certain truths that they're like, I'm just gonna not accept the truth so that I have a sense of control here. You know what I mean? And an irrational choice like that, like I'm going to give way to backwardism or anti-truth just out of a rebellion towards the truth because I can't accept this. I think that's the death throes of a collective ego death. Like you said, that's a term that I've used before, collective ego death.
I think that's why we're seeing the calamity in the world, because we're being shook up. And it's really caused by AI and technology. That's really what's behind the scenes. It's not really behind the scenes that much anymore, but it's working itself out in ways that we can't even see at this point, and I think it's affecting us at a collective level. That if you're not stable enough, if you're not into your meditative path enough, you might have that essence of anti-truth. You might resist the change, this drastic change that we're living through.
It's because people, I feel, are trying to hold on to their traditions for dear life. It's like
Yeah,
with all the new entertainment that's out there, why do people still binge watch The Office and Friends
yeah,
20
right.
years later?
Yeah.
Because it gives them a sense of comfort of a past that they remember.
Familiarity.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I do that sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
But
It's okay.
it's a way of trying to like keep yourself grounded. And yeah, I think one of the reasons the politicians now are so polarizing, doesn't matter what side of the aisle they're on, and the country, like the world, is like the intensity seems to be ramping up, and I think it's with all the stuff that we're talking about here.
Hmm.
Do you remember I don't know if you saw Inception. Remember the movie Inception?
Yes,
That's
yes,
one of my
yes.
favorite movies. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
what's coming to mind is the scene when he's walking through the dream with her, and they make some mistake, and all the subconscious thems see them, and the dream
Oh,
starts falling apart. Like you know what I
yeah.
mean?
Uh-huh.
Sometimes, like, I'm not saying that that's what's going on, okay? But I'm saying sometimes it feels like, what are the chances that being born in the time that we were born in, we saw so much ridiculous change over this time? It's very solipsistic, what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying. But it just seems like, what the hell's going on around here? This
Yeah.
is too weird.
I know.
Like news reports about weird, like they think this might be a spacecraft coming to Earth and AI's around the corner and all this shit. I'm like, what the hell? Like, is
Yeah.
this the scene in Inception where all the subconsciouses go crazy because they all realize at once it's a dream?
This is the climax. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know what you mean too. It might seem a little egotistical and solipsistic to think that way, that this is the life, this is the lifetime. But I mean, that's what it seems like. Especially if you right?
At
Especially if you
family
compare it to
get-togethers.
previous lifetimes, right? If you look at history, nothing was as interesting as this in terms of our known history for the last, what, I don't know, how long has civilization been around? A few tens of thousands of years from what we have for recorded history. Nothing was this crazy.
I
And all of
know.
this
Yeah.
going on, the fact that we're just doing this and somebody's tuning into us in the future, right there is wild. But you throw in aliens, yeah, you throw in AI, you throw in the political situation, you throw in just all of it just happening, everything everywhere all at once. Have you seen that movie?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
just everything everywhere
Yeah.
all at once. And I think it's gonna lead to the collapse of our dream state, the
That's
collapse of this world, this phony world
so
that we're living
funny.
under. Because we're
So
recognizing,
funny.
because this is also Terrence McKenna. He says things are just gonna get so weird. People are gonna have to start asking questions. It's
But
gonna
he
happen. Like,
died.
what's
Like
going on?
we know people that have died, and I'm like, well, what's the deal with them? Because sometimes, like, I don't suggest doing this. It's inappropriate, wrong. But we'll be at get-togethers, and I'll be like, guys, nobody's gonna die. They're gonna come up with life extension right as we're getting older, and then the game's just gonna keep going on.
You made the cut.
They're gonna keep tricking us. Yeah, if we're here,
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be
we
too
made the
perfect.
cut.
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's people dear to us that we know that have died. Like we've got
Mm.
people who have already passed on. That it's like, oh, they're not going to live forever with us then, or whatever. So obviously, we're just talking here. But like in a real state, it seems like we all agree. It really does seem like that. We're born at a perfect time in
Yeah.
history where we have all understandable history behind us, dinosaurs and everything like that, and
Yeah.
we're entering into a potential state of singularity. What
Yeah.
are the chances? Maybe that's just how it feels when you are in that place. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting
Doesn't
times,
matter
that's
who
for
I
sure.
talk to. Yeah, it doesn't matter who I talk to. Conversations are always like, are things strange? Things seem really strange right now. They're like
Yeah.
coworkers, whatever's going on. Same people. Everyone's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
I would still invite people to be not egoic about it, though, to still question their identity in the midst of all that. Like, because sometimes because that could be turned into like kind of a dense
Hmm.
identity delusion. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I would still say probably don't give way to that necessarily. Still see thoughts as for what they are.
Yeah. Yeah. Be able to entertain the craziness, but also have that practice to remain grounded at the same time. That's the key. In the world
Mys-
and out of it.
Mystic swims where the psychotic drowns.
Amen. Yeah. And I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder. It's going to get more and more novel as time goes on too. Like we think it's so novel now, but I think in order just picture what it's going to look like 50 years, 100 years from now. The people born then will be like, yeah, this is the lifetime. This is it. I can't imagine what people lived through in 2025 back in the
Yeah.
Stone Age.
Oh
So
yeah.
that's also another way to kind of ground yourself is like, I think the future's only going to get trippier.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
got into metal boxes and hurtled next to each other down the highway.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
things called highways by
Yeah, right.
manually.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Run
Yeah,
on
we're
dinosaur fuel, dinosaur liquid, you know.
yeah.
Well,
Probably
imagine,
the
imagine,
Flintstones.
imagine how barbaric
Yeah.
it would seem if, say, 100 or 200 years from now, you can artificially create all your food. We slaughter animals by the thousands per day. You know, what about doctors and surgery? Like they were popping pills with chemicals in them, and they had to
Yeah.
have knife procedures where they cut each other to like fix with their bare hands.
Yep.
You know, like 200
Yeah.
years from now, they may have nanobots that just go in and do everything. And
100%. Might even be
You
all
know.
like genetic. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, so there is a part of us that is still barbaric, that is still in the Stone Age, that is still
Yeah.
living in the old world. And that's what's interesting about this time period is we're in the transition. So we're not in the new world yet. We're not in the future, but we can see it. We get glimpses of the future. We get visions of how good it could be, actually. But yet we're still driving around cars with dinosaur fuel,
Dinosaur blood. It's
Dinosaur blood,
awesome.
whatever it is.
It's
Yeah.
actually awesome though. You know what I mean? Like a lot. Like when I was younger, I used to fantasize a lot about being even younger and like what I would do if I could go back to high school and stuff. And now I'm like, I wouldn't go back 2 days. I wouldn't go back at all. Because
No.
it's so fascinating to be exactly where we are. You're right. It's pre. Never mind just being able to manufacture whatever food. Imagine being able to turn whatever, alchemize anything into anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Alchemize any substance into some other substance. It's like claustrophobicizing freedom at that point.
Yeah,
It's
I
still
feel like
nice to
that's
be limited.
yeah, I don't like that idea. That's like too easy because there's a certain part of our limitations that define us and define this reality,
Right.
make it fun. So if you could just
Right.
make anything into anything to become the alchemist,
That's what I'm
you're
saying.
missing the point.
That's what I'm saying. I think a good like psychedelic trip, I think sometimes can ground you back in. Oh, thank God for limitations. Thank God
Yeah,
for the
exactly.
boundaries. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
not saying I'm anti getting used to God's chaos. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, I'm on the path too. And I see the value in diminishing an ego. But at the same time, there's a lot to be grateful for with all these these limits that make you free, because I call it sometimes like such vastness, such what is it, infinite potential or whatever, that it's you're so spacious, you're so everything, it's claustrophobic. You know what I mean? To the ego, I think an unprepared ego, it can feel like that. Like the vastness of infinity can almost have the opposite effect and feel terrifying. But we're not there. We're still in this time where we're communicating with small mouth noises at each other and
Yeah.
and can go and eat a cookie if we're depressed, or go watch a good movie and do all these things.
You might be touching on the answer to some of like the greater cosmic questions about consciousness, like why is reality doing what it's doing anyway? We complain a lot about our sufferings and the limitations that we do have, but like Gary just said, if you had all the cheat codes, I like some of my limitations because it allows, so maybe there's like a constant, like once you do figure it all out, you put yourself back in on purpose. So
you can have
Yeah.
glimpses. You can have glimpses, I think, of that. And I think that there's probably some people that have deep, crazy awakenings and then they abide in it. But if I would just say, if you're not there, if that's terrifying, I'll take from ignorantly of something from the Bible where like Abraham or something would catch a glimpse of God and he would he almost melted. It almost destroyed him seeing God or something like that. Like, we might be all headed that direction and maybe we'll be ready for it when we get there. But obviously there's some lessons in this distinction rich reality we live in that we could all work out. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not so big. Infinity is not such a ridiculous task once we've like learned everything we need to learn about the limits that we face all the time.
Amen. Yes, to take our limitless nature and bring it into the limited, and that does change you. That does alchemize you. I think that's the point, because you see that I think I mentioned this in the beginning, that we're all part of the limitless. So you carry on with that understanding, you carry on with that realization. And yeah, I think it just makes you a better person altogether. You know, once you have this grand realization, it makes you loving, ideally, you know,
Yeah.
plain and simple.
Yeah.
Because you see,
Gary,
we're all in on it, right?
I think I had too much
This
coffee.
is a wild conversation we had today. This is super fun.
Nature of the game here.
Gary, I gotta ask you, maybe to close things out here, you could give our audience maybe what is the overarching theme of the conscious perspective. I guess maybe take the last words, and then when you're done, maybe let our audience know where they can find you, what you got going on, and all that good stuff.
The overarching theme is in the title, is that just by seeing a certain way, the way that we might have described over the last hour and a half, just by seeing in this way is the antidote to, I guess, everything. It is the spiritual path. It's just by simply changing up the mode a little bit, changing up the dial on the radio set of your mind, going up a level and seeing all is one. One is all. That is the overarching theme that I try to reach with everybody, is like, do you see it? Because I see it. So I try to have them elucidate how they see it. And everybody, even though we're all seeing the same thing per se, everybody has their own way to describe it. And you guys, I think, described it very well today as well. So that's the theme, is like, even though we're all seeing the same thing, how do you see it? That's my curiosity. It's like, how are you going to describe it to me? Hopefully, at least, how are you going to hopefully describe it in a way that other people can understand and that I can understand? So yeah, I think it's possible for everybody. If I can do it, you can do it. That's for sure. I'm just a Joe Schmo. I'm nothing special. So if I can see God, and I used to be an atheist, very ardent atheist, if I can realize God, if I can come to understand what God is and isn't, if I can understand that God is a potential, at least, coming from this point of God was silly, then I think anybody can see it too. So yeah, that's the theme, is to see it all as God in drag.
Awesome.
I don't have anything else to say.
Now, what about
reach me?
Yeah.
You can just search Gary Haskins, Gary L. Haskins on YouTube and every other social media outlet. But did you have something to say?
The only thing I want to say is this was such a delight, and you're so intelligent, and everybody should go listen to what Gary has to say. And I hope you share your ideas a lot with your channel, because you've got some you clearly got some good insights, and are doing some cool stuff.
So this was awesome. Thanks, Gary, so much for being on the show. It was our pleasure having you.
For sure. Thank you, guys. Keep up the good work. I wish you all the best. Peace and love to you. Peace and love to everybody that listens this long.